being an artist is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's not just writing your rap and performing it. It's a 360 involved lifestyle. And
we in the field, we in the field, right? We in the field, we in the field. Just put it in work. We raising the bar. You tuned in to the Trackstarz.
Yeah, back in the field with the Trackstarz. Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Was good.
All right, this segment is sponsored by Flavor Fest 2018 is going down, y'all, October 4th through the 7th. Trackstarz will be in the building. We are hosting the Trackstarz Beat Battle. We got all 8 producers already lined up. We're going to announce them today. Also, our special guest judge will be announced today, so y'all keep it locked for the Trackstarz Beat Battle announcements.
Man, we got some awesome guests with us today. First 2 guests are awesome. I've known one of them for a long time. Watched this man grow in this industry, killing it. We got Lasana Ace Harris and Marcus Hollinger of Reach Records in the building with us today. How y'all doing?
Doing good, man. It's good to be back home. I've been knowing y'all for 10, 11 years now.
It's got to be at least that.
Yes, and so I was talking to Jeremiah earlier when I came in. It's just dope to see what y'all doing. You guys have always been advocates. And I respect the platform a lot. And I was telling him, I look at you guys like brothers. So I forget, like, yo, this is a real major media company out here. Like, this is. I was like, Marcus, we going, like, we got to be careful, man. They might try to like Charlemagne. We gotta be. We
get that sometimes.
We've had people say that they would like us to do that on our show, but
I mean, it happens.
Gotta pull back
we
a
get
little bit.
settled.
Stay on guard.
Yeah.
Oh,
nah.
So
I receive it.
So yeah, so A&R, Lasana, and then we got VP of Marketing, Marcus. How y'all doing, man?
Doing good.
Good.
Doing great, man.
It's truly an honor to have y'all, man, and just seeing what Reach has been doing recently, and just kind of picking your brain and what you guys are going to be doing at A3C. Tell them a little bit about what your role is going to be at A3C.
Okay, so I guess I'll kick it off. So we're going to be so there's 2 panels that we're going to be functioning in. Specifically, my panel, I'm going to be doing artist feedback, one-on-one sessions with artists, and also doing producer feedback. So I guess in some ways I kind of do that day to day anyway.
Yeah.
But this is not limited to artists in the faith-based arena. So it's going to be all artists. So and so I was telling Marcus earlier, the goal here is to be honest but also helpful. I feel like sometimes in those feedback sessions, even in a public forum, there's a lot of like criticism without construction.
Right.
And it's yo, dude, that's all you giving me. So I try to be like as honest and helpful as I can in these type of things. You know what I mean? So the goal is to have the artist or producer leave with gems that'll either help them be the best version of themselves, or they may leave and feel like maybe I need to go to another caller. Yeah, I mean, let's keep it real. So that's kind of the crux of my angle.
What's your panel about, Mark?
I'll be speaking on they got one called creating your own movement. So it's just talking about ways to sort of leverage a movement and giving some perspective for indie labels.
That's good.
So I'll be on there with a couple of other label heads, just kind of speaking from the perspective of like what works, and giving some tips and things like that as far as guiding a movement from an indie label perspective.
That's amazing. So I want to kind of get into how you guys came to Reach and what Reach is doing now. But I know specifically you came from the world of working with artists like, T.I. and Nicki. Who are some of the other artists? I remember you had beats. I remember I was going through my album, I was going through all these beats, and I'm like, it's like, oh, this one was for T.I. He rejected that. That's cool for me. I'll take that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude's working with everybody. Those rooms, when you get a chance to be a Christian in those rooms, what does that feel like?
You know what? I think, to be honest, those rooms from a distance seem like such vast like difference. But I look at it like anybody being an employee at a company, being in the workplace. It's like there's there's the Christian market, and then there's the world at large. So pertaining to music, I feel like it's just great to be in those spaces for me personally, because it's allowed me to kind of just be a voice in the room, to offer insight, to offer a perspective that may be the minority perspective, but what I realize is that people in those spaces, first of all, we're really just the same people, and real recognize real. So it's not necessarily about convincing them to believe what I believe, but being true to what I believe and real respecting that. It's like I think people just want to see authenticity. So even if it's something that we may disagree on, it's like, oh, Ace or Marcus or even Sean, he's really committed to what he believes in this space, which is like, that's interesting. So it's being firm in that, and that's kind of what I've seen in those rooms.
And I think part of what I love about you guys, when I met PK one day, the three of you guys, I remember going over to their apartment, and they would be up till like 5 in the morning, laptops laid out, working all night, and then going to work the next day. Like, that put in my mind how hard this is and how hard you got to work. So when he told me he got the Reach job, it was just like, dude,
what's up?
You got that. I mean, it's just a perfect blend of the industry work he put in, blending with his passion for the kingdom, being able to help take that knowledge and give it to people who can really do something with it, man. It's been an honor to watch it, man.
Oh man, I appreciate it. I'm just a product of. If I try to explain how I did it, then I think it'd be me saying I did it, which would be whack, because it's really just God. So sure, it's a blessing, man. Like, hard work and faith, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of work. I think sometimes the artists don't get that. It's like, I'm gonna just pray my way to success.
Man.
You better put some work. It's just a lot of work, regardless. It doesn't anything it just takes work.
It's more work than you think it is, but once God stretches you to that new area, you start to realize you can do it, and then he'll stretch you again. And you're like, that's too much, and it's like, nope, we're gonna do it again. And you're gonna realize when you look 10 years back, we were in like a closet 10 years ago doing this show. No, seriously. And you don't know how far it's like, oh, you think this is hard? Wait, we got a lot more work to do. But he'll get you ready for all those steps. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Marcus, how did you come to the Reach brand, and tell them a little bit about what you do for Reach?
Okay, yeah. So my title is Vice President of Marketing, and functionally what I do is everything that, from every release to music and things like that, the merch and all that, really kind of shaping how it comes to the public. So leading in the message development, leading in the marketing strategy, rollout stuff. So for the most part, I write marketing plans, lead strategy, and oversee publicity work, informing the design department on how, designing to strategy, and just overseeing the operations of the overseeing the team, partnering with the artists, leading in strategy, partnering with the managers, and connecting the brand to the industry at large.
That's amazing. Wow. So how did you get the knowledge to be able to be that for Reach?
So I studied in college, did what was called strategic communication, so functionally journalism degree. It's a BS in journalism, but I did strategic communication, which was like advertising, PR, marketing, social media. My first professional exposure, I worked on Madison Avenue at a media planning company in New York, and I worked with clients like Audi was like the first sort of brand that I worked on, doing media planning and doing new business pitches for like they were trying to win like Budweiser and all that clients. So I got that research-based planning, creative type of experience. Came back to school, and like right when I graduated, I did social media for the United Nations Department of Information. So that kind of taught me how to, and we put together, they were doing this conference in Brazil, and they were trying to like talk to everybody in the world at the same time and get them to care about this thing that they were doing in Brazil. And my team developed a strategy, and then I got to be on the team to sort of execute that. But it was like, so I had just amazing experience professionally and technically early on, but I met the Lord when I was in college. And I think when I came back from New York, there was like a lot of job offers. People were like buying me stuff, like, you coming back, right? Like, taking me out. And I was like, yeah, cool. But then the Lord started working on my heart, and I put my career on hold, and I did campus ministry for 2 years at the University of Kansas, and kind of grew in my faith. And I was just trying to figure out like how to, what to do, because I had all this marketing stuff, and I'm learning more about discipleship. I'm learning more about the Bible and how to think deeply about my faith. And so I was just being faithful in that. And one day I think I read an article by Wado, DJ Wado, and it was something like why you should stop rapping. And he mentioned like, yo, everybody's trying to rap, but we need more Ben Washers.
Yeah.
I never forget that article. And so I was like, yo, who is Ben Washer? Because at the time, like anything art, faith, culture, I would just devour it. I was like, I'm gonna own that conversation. And Ben Washer was this new figure that I hadn't heard of. So I'm like, I stalked him on Instagram, all of this, and you know, you can't find much on Ben Washer. So long story short, my boss had Ben and Lecrae as clients of theirs, right? So this is like God, because he did like this commodities trading thing, like investments and stuff, and he was also running the ministry. And so we had a service trip coming up to Atlanta, and I was like, yo, when we go to Atlanta, I want to meet Ben Washer. He was like, how do you know who that is? And I was like, don't worry about that. I want to meet him. Long story short, Ben agreed to have breakfast with me. We served at the Dream Center for a week.
Oh, I love the Dream
I got to, yeah, man, that was awesome. And then I got to have breakfast with Ben, and we sat down, and I had all these questions prepared, and I was just going in, like, just, you know. And he started, like, Ben is such an interesting guy. Like, he was like looking at me, and then he was like, okay. So he started going in at me, and then he was like, yo, you should come to the studio. I'm like, bet. So come to the studio. Lecrae is there, and it's like, cool. I meet the team, you know, go back to Kansas, and they're like, yo, they want you to move, then go work with them. And we worked it out, so you go next week. I was like, oh, wow. So like, yeah, came in interns 4 years ago, and I've been at Reach ever since, man.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
I love telling that story.
Yeah, that's a good story.
I love telling that story.
That's a good story. I feel like when you guys, your team sits down, right? Yeah, the artists have an audience, but you guys have an audience too, because you've got so many labels, independent labels, and artists that are looking at what Reach is doing, right? So y'all's next release is like somebody's out there trying to pattern that. Do you guys feel like you all are like at the helm of releases and strategy for this genre? Like, do y'all feel like y'all are putting out so much energy for other people to follow behind and just be like, this is the way to do it?
I mean, I think we're aware of it. You know, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And believe me, like, we feel it. Like, I feel it. But it's almost like, I think, like, you be aware of it. And so the way I consider it is, just don't violate people. Don't violate people's conscience. Don't like, consider people. Like, as a Christian, and even as a marketer, like, you can't be effective in either if you're not considering people. And so we think about that, and it informs everything that we do, because it's we just are aware of that dynamic. So absolutely, I
don't think people understand how important, like, you guys, people see the artist, you know, they see the person in front, but you guys are literally, everything we hear and see goes through you guys from Reach. You know what I mean? And that's valuable. So there's people here that, like you said, they want to be artists, but God is really calling them to be the person behind the scenes, the person that's going to make what the artist does look great. Because a lot of artists are out there by themselves, but there's nobody like a Stedman that can kind of organize it for them and help them make the decision and help them make, you know, the right moves. That's valuable. And people really need to consider that. If you feel like God called you to this, it may not be to rap. It may be to help.
And it really is, and I think that's something that's very, like, it's critical, because I think I had last year listened to Gimlet Media. They put out this they put out this joint on Chris Lighty, right? Like, and Chris Lighty, for people who don't know who that is, I mean, he was the one who got 50 Cent the vitamin water deal, right? And had done all these other things. And I remember listening to that, and I was like, man, that's we need, as far as like Christians, like, there's this whole other conversation that gets neglected, and that's why we were very Ace and I, we came together. It was like, yo, we want to talk about navigating faith in hip hop, because there's this other conversation that gets neglected in terms of, like, your music, it can only go so far as, like, the advocates, the people who we need believers who got contacts at Vitamin Water. We need believers who got who can build those strategic relationships so that the music can go. And that's hip hop. You know, you got guys like Steve Stout. hip hop wouldn't be hip hop without Steve Stout. Like he was the one who told Dell Computers, you guys got to have this energy to sell these computers. Wow. Like he was the one who told you know, got folks like Reebok, like, yo, hip hop is gonna sell your product, like, and we need people to do that as well.
I have a question. So like, what would, for both of y'all, because I mean I know A's and we met you today, what is the thing for the person that you're talking to say that's contemplating that's saying, you know what, I am good at doing business, I am good at doing marketing, I am good at this, you know what I mean, I know somebody I can help build up and stuff, but I still like to rap, or it doesn't bring attention like being on a stage. What would you say to that person? Like,
I mean, I think it's like you gotta kind of like step, and it takes a lot of self-awareness. Yeah. So you kind of gotta step back and say what do I want my life to be in 10, 15, 20 years. Yeah. And being an artist, like I used to rap in college. Like I grew up in the studio rapping, writing rhymes, and I tell you, I do not want to be an artist. Like I sit with Lecrae all the time, and my favorite thing I love to tell him is, I do not want your life. Yeah. And so to that person, I would say being an artist is hard. Yeah. It's hard. It's not just writing your rap and performing it. It's a 360 involved lifestyle. Yeah. And I would tell that person, like, look to the left of the people that you're looking at. Look to like you take Chance, right? Look to the left of Chance and see his manager. Yeah. Look, you take
40 or Drake.
Look to Drake and 40, and then look to LeBron. Yeah. Look at the left and the right of LeBron James.
That's true.
And if you care about your friends, if you care about people, then you'll see many hands make light work. You know, you have job, like there's job security in this, because not a lot of people who are very capable of doing this are paying attention to that. So I would say it's valuable. Good. You don't have to be, it's cool to be in front of the camera, but we need people just need to see it too, though. Yeah. So it's not just on that person on the other side of it, because how can I be something that I've never seen? Yeah. And so it's like, just start looking to the left. Gotcha. And it's there.
Gotcha. Because I think the reason why we there was questions, even like when you bringing up Chris Lighty, you bringing up the Mona Scott. I mean, people probably know Mona Scott stuff because they love hip hop, but she did a lot of stuff in them Violator days, or you know, those situations of these people. And I think our culture, our industry, our genre, everybody wants to be the MC, or everybody wants to be on the stage, but don't know that the person behind the scenes is like really doing the thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I know sometimes you could probably get more, the person behind the scenes probably don't get as much as the attention as a Lecrae or Tadashi or whoever else is on the stage. But at the same time, it's like you still benefit from the light work situation, you know, what we talked about earlier. And you know what I'm saying? People just don't know that, or they don't have that urgency or that diligence like you did to be like, who's Ben Washer? I need to know these things about Ben Washer. You know what I'm saying? So I think we got to get to a point, or we got to make behind the scenes look cool.
Yeah, and it's and I think that's that. It's like, how can you be something you never seen, right? Yeah. Growing up, my brother was an athlete. My brother is an amazing athlete. Yeah. And I wanted to be like him, and I was envious of him, and everybody used to tell me, Marcus, you should be the manager. And I'd be like, nah, because the family don't respond to that. Y'all get hyped when y'all see him on the field. Yeah. And so I can hoop, but nowhere near like what he can do. Yeah. And now I look back on high school and I'm like, I should have been like branding the team. Like, forget trying to hoop. Like, but the family. It's also the responsibility of the family to champion that.
It's family.
You know,
that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. So what are the inner room? I've never been to Reach Records studio. What's the family environment like there? Like, who's there? Who's there often? Who's not there? Like, what are the meetings like? Like, how does that feel at Reach?
I think it's a real family atmosphere. Ben and Lecrae are naturally reserved people, so what they don't show that we see is that they really have a heart for people and a heart for the culture at large, and they do a lot of behind the scenes stuff that, not for the sake of broadcasting or public fanfare that helps the culture, helps people. So that same spirit is kind of like shown at Reach. And then also, to be frank, I mean, we're a record label, so we operate as a business too. We have you know, sales goals, we have objections, we have we have objectives, we have staff, we have expectations. So you know, so with that same spirit, each person kind of sharpens each other, but the ministry and like family aspect is woven through the business lens. So there's still expectations, but the vibe with the artists is pretty much still a good family atmosphere. I'm on a group text with all the artists, and so we do like a weekly thing. We just try to sharpen each other. So there's definitely that, and you know, I think sometimes people kind of misstep and look at it from one angle, but just being there, those dudes are really about pushing people and pushing the culture.
Yeah.
So we're talking about faith in hip hop, and a lot. What do you guys say to people who think you guys really shouldn't be doing anything with artists out there?
Why not?
And no, I'm saying it's gonna happen today. I know for a fact. People will be like, "Well, why are you guys on panels with these people? Why are you making songs with these guys? Why are you interacting with them at all?"
Yeah.
What'd you say to that?
I have so to be frank, I'm a preacher's kid. Grew up in the church. Didn't really get to know how to walk with God till I was in my young adult life. So I initially started in hip hop, just hip hop. I didn't know much about Christian hip hop. So it was after I got my life, you know, rededicated, that I got back into it. So I would say for me, like there's always this, you know, go back to this, not to get preachy, but it's always like that: be in it but not of it, be in the world but not of it. I think historically people look at culture as like something, and here's church. And so our goal is to be set apart. We're supposed to be different, distinct, and that's great. But to be set apart doesn't mean to be pretty much not engaged with
physically separated.
Yeah,
you gotta be around them.
So if you're light and there's darkness, you have to be in the darkness to actually to shine it. So shine through it. So, and then practically speaking, I mean, you know, I feel like you can't change anything that you're not a part of.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm glad Ace kind of like talked about it mostly from a spiritual perspective, because I had to be just very practical about it. And if you're not, you know, working with those people, then you can't, there's a lot of resources, right? Like, and I don't get mad at people for that. Like, we see that all the time.
And comment section,
and in a lot of ways it produces compassion, because it's like, oh, people just really don't understand that a piece of, like, it's media, it's a product, it's a commodity. When we strip everything down from it, it's like this microphone. Like, I don't know what the person who made this microphone, I don't know what they think, I don't know what they believe, but they have to have partners to get this microphone here, you know, to us. And so why do A3C? Because there's gonna be, you know, Yohai from DJ Booth is gonna be there, and we gotta be able to talk to him to say, hey, yo, you are the best hip hop writer going. Have you ever considered Andy Mineo? Yeah. And it's oh, yo, bet I like it. I'll write about it. And we all get excited, right, when we see Andy Mineo in, you know, if Andy Mineo got the cover of Fader right now, everybody's you know, Tim Tebow on the Gators, he had to have coaches who weren't believers who could tell him how to throw a baseball, a football, you know, so we could see somebody like us on TV.
That's good.
Which has impact. Yeah, I get it. I think there's this natural like caution about. I think for me, I look at it like there's just the separation model can be kind of unhealthy, where yes, be distinct, be set apart, but it doesn't mean that it's like it kind of creates this like, well, we are the holier than thou that shouldn't mix with those. It's like now we have to walk with people for where they at, and again, you can't change nothing that you're not a part of. So
that's good.
That's
good.
sense.
That's good. Man, so tell them what you guys are responsible for, what you're working on now within Reach. leak anything if you want to leak it. You know what I'm saying?
They got to sign something.
I just
Next signee.
No, I'm saying they signed something like, yo, a disclosure probably.
Oh no, we know.
So you said the word sign?
Nah, on the way up here, Ace grabbed me by my shirt. He was like, "Don't you go in there and say
I said these are my homies, but we got to stand strong out here.
I'm gonna try and get something out of y'all.
Oh, I get it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great music that's being recorded that isn't out yet. I think Gabi just announced his project. Not I think, but I know Panorama. That's music is incredible.
It's
incredible.
crazy.
It's great.
That
boy, he's coming into his own. Tedashi's still cooking. So other than what's been announced, I can't really say much. But it's just a blessing working with those guys, and you know, the music's coming out great. The tour just started last night. I'm gonna try to catch a date too. I need to go fly up, maybe New York or something. But it's just a lot of, and honestly, what I try to do, and I spoke to Derek Minor about this in Compton at a coffee shop. Was my first time. My first time in Compton was at a coffee shop for Propaganda, which is a whole other story. But I spoke to him about trying to be more intentional about encouraging camaraderie within the scene. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean. I think sometimes there's this expectation of, you know, Reach Records for whatever reason may be the top dogs, and they're not encouraging other artists.
Right.
So I received that feedback, and I think that's to some degree we can steward that.
Yeah. I mean, there's still business that has to happen, but we've taken it on as our role to be the bridge between everybody. Like we just did the streaming campaign for KB on Thursday. We have no stake in the game whatsoever, so we don't care who getting what. You know what I mean? So we've been taking that role on of saying, yo, Rapzilla, let's do this. You know, Rep the King, let's go do this. Like, we don't care who wins.
When we were out at South by Southwest, we connected all the brands together. International, Doc Watson, and everybody just saying, hey, everybody come and let's be a part of it.
Doc is good at that too.
Yeah, he's great.
He's really
Shout
great.
out Doc. So I feel like so it was kind of that thinking when we put out the Summer 18 project to consider like Foggy Raw, to consider No Big Deal, to consider Canon, and just end of the day, you can't force collaboration.
No, you can't.
But you can encourage togetherness and camaraderie. So I try to wear that hat. It's not easy though, but we try.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
So give me a marketing gem that we could, you know, leave out. We got so many artists and brands and labels represented, so many people watching. Like what's some tips that could help us get to that next level?
Build an email list. I think a lot of people don't think about that. Everything that you do, you know, make sure you stay in that you have a way to contact those people so they know what you do next. Give people your music, like let them interact with it in a way that they want to. So I think as much as you can think about when you're bringing something to the marketplace, like think about how to involve people in it. You know, whether it's encouraging them to do a reaction video or attach a challenge to it. Partner with people. I think artists and artist managers, like, creating the music is only 50%, and marketing is all about the right product at the right at the right price and at the right place. So don't consider the place. Consider the place. How can I get this music in front of where people are? You know, don't try to be too cool or self-centered. Like, yo, I shop at this place, so I want my stuff over here. And it's like, well, do the people who listen to your music shop over there? If they go to Chipotle, put it in Chipotle in your way. Don't try to drag them to these places that they're not.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I got like a million questions for you, but we're gonna have to bring y'all back because that marketing piece is like, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. A lot of people are confused about how to really get yourself to the next level. Like, even like just off the top of my head, you were talking about email lists. How much is too much to bother people? What's the rate of emails? How do you find that audience? How do you know if they're at Chipotle or whatever? How do you man, there's just a million things I could think of. So we definitely got to have you guys back and dive in even deeper, man. So hope your panels go well. A3C, go check them out if you're still going to be in Atlanta. I can't believe I'm missing it. I wish I could see them, but we're going to be here next year. Hopefully we'll catch y'all.
Oh, for sure, man. It's been a pleasure being here with y'all, man. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll be back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you will. You will.
You know, it's gonna be a great upcoming season at Reach. Just stay tuned.
Drop your handle real quick. Your social media.
I'm Ace Harris Music for pretty much everything. Yeah, Ace Harris Music.
Yeah, and I'm Mark is the Market. So MARCIS the Market. Mark is the Market.
Awesome, man. All right, let's get back into it. You in the field with the Track Stars, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Lay up.
Hey guys, Miracle here. Thank you so much for watching that episode. Make sure you go below, like it, subscribe, click the bell, and make sure you follow us on all forms of our social media. Also, check out our website and be sure you spread the word. We'll see you next time.
We know not what we doing. Screw that, they know, let them have it, do it. Okay, I'm erratic, prove it. Never mind, got a mind that'll wind up with me in a lineup behind bars with these bars. Okay, my time's up.
Team Freedom.
Yeah.
We not through yet.
All right.
Trackstarz Music presents.
Turn my volume up. Turn me off.